Howdy. So, once again, I'm talking about smartphones. I talked about smartphones 3 years ago when I talked about smartphones seeming like it's kind of a scam on us. Let's face the fact. You go in to get a smartphone, you're there like an hour. They tell you, well, you're going to get this discount, this discount, this discount. And you're thinking, okay, that sounds good. And yet, you're there for a long time. They come in with these extra fees and it ends up not necessarily costing you what you think it will. And they tell you, well, that's so you don't have to buy the phone outright. But then they add that back into the bill, so that's what keeps the bills high. So you have that to deal with, and then you have to deal with the thing of obsolescence, which basically says that the phones are really only made to last a year. That's so they can upgrade the phone with very little change and sell you a new one the next year. And it's not, particular to any one group. I mean, Samsung, Apple, the iPhone, any of these people you want to mention, that's all the same. And you only have so many dealers that you can deal with. And I have to use Verizon, even though I have fussed about Verizon Fios, and I'm not fussing about it as much anymore because I've gotten used to it a little better now. But I have Verizon because in my neighborhood, Verizon is the only service that works. AT&T didn't work for all the years my wife and I had it, and the only reason we kept it is because they just kept buying. Whoever it was that we started off with got bought by someone, and then AT&T bought them, and we just never changed over. And we found out later on that Verizon had the coverage in our neighborhood. And it turned out that at the time I was traveling a lot and they were the only ones who had coverage out of town, which was amazing. People on Sprint, nothing. People on AT&T, nothing. But I had coverage. So, it's hard to be mad at that. With that said, this is me fussing about something else when it comes to smartphones. And I can only talk about it from the Verizon point of view, but I'm sure that AT&T and the rest of them do the same thing. So anyway, here I was today. I was on my regular phone talking to my mother, and when I talk on the phone, I walk around the house. And at this particular time, I was walking around the house, and I happened to hit something, and it fell to the floor, and it turned out to be my smartphone. And so, I went to pick it up because I've dropped this bad boy before. We all kind of drop our phones, and, I've got a case around it, so I'm thinking it's totally protected. Well, something went wrong with the surface, and I couldn't see anything, the screen that is. I couldn't see anything. I went through all the tricks that I know to try to get it back, and I had just a little corner where I could see something. After about an hour, I realized, okay, I'm not fixing this. All my tricks just aren't going to work. Got to go take it to the repairs. Now, there's a repair station at our mall. We got Destiny Mall here in the Syracuse area, and on the first level, they got these guys who repair the phones. They have kiosks all through the mall, but it turns out that they're all basically reporting to the guys downstairs who work at the repair station. So I go to the repair station and I show the guy the phone and I said, I got no screen. I've done all the tricks that you can. Nothing is happening. And so he pushes a couple of buttons here and there and he says, I think your screen is gone. And I said, well, that doesn't sound good. How much is that going to cost? And he says it's going to cost $160. I said, wow, really? Now, in August, I had gone with my wife to BJ's warehouse. I don't know if everyone has BJ's, but it's, one of those outlet stores. And so we had gone there, and the lady had told me that in October I would qualify for a free upgrade if I wanted it. So I said to the guy, well, you know what? I qualify for a free upgrade. Let me go upstairs to Verizon and see what that deal is first. So I go upstairs to the second floor of the mall, and I go into the Verizon store, and the guy greets me, and I said, yeah, my phone isn't working anymore. Something's wrong with the screen, and I know I'm eligible for a free upgrade, so I thought I would check that out. So he asks me my phone number, puts it in, confirms who I am. Then he says to me, well, you are eligible for a free upgrade. However, that upgrade only works if the phone is working, and your phone isn't working, therefore you're not eligible for the upgrade. I said, really? I didn't know that was part of the rules, because I didn't know that was part of the rules. He said, yeah, unfortunately, that's it. So he said, so you'd have to pay $148 for the rest of your phone in order to then be able to upgrade the phone. Now, I knew that had I upgraded the phone, there was going to be all these fees. There were at least two fees. There's at least the $35 fee and the $50 fee, because that's what my wife ended up having to pay, along with having to pay off her phone when she got her upgrade in August. And then the phone bill is going to go up. So I said, well, what if you guys repaired it? How much would it be? And he looks it up. He says $175. I said, really? So let me get this straight. I could pay it off for $148 to go to another phone, or you can fix it for $175 even though we have insurance. He says, yeah, unfortunately, that's how it works. I said, well, it makes more sense for me to go back downstairs to the guy at the kiosk to fix it for $160. And he said, well, I got to tell you the truth. Yeah, that's the better deal. It's the best deal you can get. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? So I get the phone from Verizon, and even though it's a Samsung, I get it from Verizon, and you're telling me that the guys downstairs are going to offer me a much better deal than you when you guys are, in essence, you're the dealership? It's just incredible. So I went back downstairs. The guy took 40 minutes to replace the screen of my phone. The phone works perfect once again. I'm a happy guy. But I sat there thinking, wow, these cell people really kind of have you, they have you. Let's just end it there. And I'm thinking, wow, this business really is built on obsolescence. Now, back in August, it turned out, like I said, I would have qualified for an upgrade in October, but had I had to make the payment in August, it would have cost me $66. And I hesitated at that time because the phone was working fine. So it went from $66 to $148 because the phone wasn't working. I'm sure it's somewhere in those terms of service, that multiple page thing that we all get, but none of us reads that. And I know I could sit there and say, well, it's my fault for not reading it, but come on. It just almost sounded like they just changed the rules. And I could have come home and, looked it up and read the thing and gone to find it, but at that point, it made no sense. So I'm just throwing this out there because this may be something that some of you don't know. It just turns out to be a much economical deal sometimes to go to someone else and let them fix it. That's all I've got. So I was a little irked at Verizon. I know, that's probably their policy. I'm a little irked at that. Although, truthfully, I wasn't really going to upgrade. I was just going to switch to another Galaxy S5 because I've enjoyed this phone. I wanted a Galaxy S7. At least I thought about it. But I know the Note had been overheating. The truth of the matter is, my wife actually started out with the the Galaxy 7 in August. And she had it for one day, and the sucker actually it did overheat. And she had trouble figuring out a few things and decided to take it back. And for one day, she had to pay a $35 restocking fee. So on top of the money she already paid, she had to pay a restocking fee. And then she had to pay, I think, $25 fee for swapping the phones. They got you. I mean, you know what? They're worse than large banks. I could fuss about that, but that's for another day. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. I'd like to know what you guys think about maybe this story, or if you've run into certain situations where you think that the people, the dealers, whether it's Verizon, A&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, whomever, are kind of taking advantage of the rest of us. Y'all let me know. You have a wonderful day.